Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here. I want to do a video to talk about um possibly a rant, but I want to do a more face to face with the audience, uh, and talk about this whole situation with Kevin Smith and the Snyder Cut and what he's trying to say that it exists and that WB is fools for not for not releasing it. Now, I want to start off, and I know how people are going to probably react to it, and I personally don't care, but I've said this on Facebook, and I will say this to anybody on Twitter. I like Kevin Smith. I adore the man. I've been watching his videos from Clerks and Chasing Amy, Mallrats, and Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob, and even some of his more recent stuff. I haven't seen Tusk, but he is a good comedy writer, and he's a great comic book writer. He wrote Green Arrow. He wrote also Daredevil for DC and Marvel. So when it comes to comic books, this man knows what the hell he's talking about. He does know what he's talking about. Um, However, when it came to the start of Snyder's movies, Man of Steel came out and he completely bashed it. He completely bashed it. He said that why is Superman the way he is, and this and this and this. Um, then we took it on the chin. I mean, some people agreed with him, a lot of people didn't, and BvS came out, and he completely lambasted it. He did not like the movie at all. He felt Batman was murdery. He was very killy. Those were some of the words he was saying, and people took that for gospel, and they started to really use his words to bash BvS more and more and more, and people didn't like it. Now, there's more to talk about, especially with Ben Affleck and the reconciliation they had because he wants to, they're trying to patch their friendship. And but let's get back to the past because these are the things that we as the people who we people who are part of the Snyder Cut movement, we need to we need to call them out on this. I mean, yes, Kevin Smith has possibly changed his whole view on everything, and he may have changed his whole worldview on everything, but we need to call him out on it. We need to really put to the point that, listen, man, you had a platform, you have a YouTube station, you go on interviews, and you go all over the United States, and you talk to fans, and you could say, yeah, this is my opinion, but as a comic book writer and also as a movie script writer and a director and a producer, you should understand what Zack Snyder was attempting to do. You should have looked at what he was saying in his interviews and say, hey, you know what? I don't like how this Superman is. However, I'm willing to give Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder an opportunity to see is there going to be growth there. And he never went to that. He was trying to talk like a comic book geek, and his initial review on the movie should be a comic book geek. He should talk like anybody else, like any one of us when we talk, especially like Chris Wong or any one of the YouTube viewers reviewers when they talk about these movies. We talk to you as we are you. How would you react if you were in our shoes? But he's in a different brand. He's a I'm not gonna say he's a big Hollywood director, but he is a Hollywood director. He's directed Hollywood films before. And he understands arcs. He understands story progressions. He understands character growth and how to grow characters from the ground floor up. But he didn't want that. He wanted Richard Donner's Superman, or he wanted this version of Superman, but he didn't understand what Zack Snyder was doing, and he was expecting all of this, like this grandiose thing, and he put too much eggs in one basket. So then, by the time Justice League came out, even he was sitting there going, what was this? He jumped on the bandwagon. Now, he also even kind of illustrated that it didn't exist, and so did his partner, which I have a huge disagreement with him. But again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But this guy's also a writer. And you're telling me he doesn't understand character arcs and character progression? So you're gonna completely lambaste a director for trying to rebuild a character from the ground floor up to give us a certain character. So when over time he's gonna progress into that character, and he knew what he was doing. Zach already had a plan about what he was doing. He was not gonna have Superman somber and depressing, and he's not gonna have him like that all the time. He had this character had to understand where was his place in the world, and a lot of people went over this, especially John Aaron Garza and Ben Everts and everybody that's been talking about this movement. They talked about why Superman, why Clark Kent slash Superman slash Kal-El slash Last Son of Krypton, why he was the way he was in Man of Steel, and how he was growing as a hero in BvS to him growing into Justice League and become the iconic symbol in the later movies. But we never got that because individuals like Kevin Smith and John Campea and Robert Meyer Burnett and the individuals at Collider, they didn't see they didn't see the character growth. They never saw it. They wanted to see slap happy Superman doing just saving cats from trees, and that's not what he was supposed to be doing. He was supposed to be looking at the bigger picture, not the everyday smaller pictures, because he was constantly going to do that. But the thing is, he's not going to save a cat from a tree every single movie. That gets repetitive and it gets boring. That's very two-dimensional. And to me, it feels two-dimensional. It doesn't feel like he's growing. He just feels like he's just doing everyday things. And in a 2-hour movie, okay, let's say a 2.5-hour movie, which is what most superhero movies are, you want him to be saving cats from trees, doing everyday stuff. That doesn't equate. So to me, it doesn't equate. It doesn't. There's no growth. So but getting back to Kevin Smith, I feel that the audience needs to call him out on it. I think that we as an audience need to call him out and say, hey, listen, man, I respect you. I respect your position. But where was this passion? Where was this understanding after Man of Steel? Where was the injustice in your voice, or where was this want and need for justice for Zack Snyder after Batman v Superman? Where was all this? You know that Ben Affleck is a huge Batman fan. He's a huge Batman aficionado. And you completely said, and also it came out that he rewrote a lot of Batman's lines and his progression. He wrote that personally with Chris Terrio. That came out by Ben Affleck himself. That came out by Zack Snyder. So you're saying again, anybody can say that really? I go, yes. If you have an individual like Kevin Smith saying that Batman seems killy, why was he doing all that stuff? You're telling the audience that Ben Affleck doesn't know Batman. That's what you're telling the audience. That's what the audience is getting from that. You're saying that Ben Affleck does not know Batman at all. He doesn't know Batman. That you know Batman. That we all know Batman. But there was an arc for Batman. And I'm a huge Batman fan. I did have a problem with him killing the individuals in those movies. However, the arc that he was on, he was a broken man. He was a broken individual. He didn't care. He gave no care to anybody. He was just going for the objective and getting it done. He didn't care about who was in his way or anything like that. He saw them as collateral damage. Hence why he gave no care to the individuals that were going into prison and they were dying. He didn't care. He never looked into that. Alfred could have shown him all these pictures of, hey, these people are dying when they're in prison. He just looks at them and goes, they're weeds. You get rid of one, another one pops in its place. Does that sound like Batman? No, that's not Batman. Batman would never think like that. He believes in the justice system. He believes in redemption. He believes that you can fix society. He believes in that because that's the root of the Waynes in Gotham. That's the whole point of the golden age of Gotham when the Waynes were in charge, when the Waynes were there. When his father and his mother were there, it was the golden age of Gotham because they made sure that they were helping as many people as they possibly can to get them out of the gutter so they can rise to prominence and Gotham would be the shining jewel of the United States. That was the whole point of Gotham City and the Waynes. And when they died, what happened? Gotham fell into depravity. Gotham fell into dismay. Gotham fell into the sewer that it became. And Bruce B. Batman is supposed to strike fear into those criminals and inspire those people to do the right thing. He's supposed to be that wall that makes people believe that you can believe in justice. If he doesn't believe, if he gave no S's about justice, he wouldn't work with Gordon. He didn't even contact Gordon in BvS. He never gave information to Gordon about in BvS. He got all the information himself and he said, I'll take care of it. That doesn't sound like Batman. Batman would give information to Gordon. If he knew that Lex was involved with anything, he would have given it to Gordon. He would have given it to Gordon and let Gordon take that to the United States government or take it to somebody. But Gordon is the commissioner of Gotham City. He gave no information to Gordon. So that doesn't sound like Batman. Batman would never do that. Batman would at least give Gordon something. So at least Gordon, from the law perspective, can be able to go after Lex. He can be able to make a case against Lex that Lex is doing something in his city. Metropolis, that's a completely different jurisdiction for Gordon. But Gordon at least can contact the commissioner of Metropolis, and they can be able to communicate and be able to get something going. And he can figure out if most of the people in Metropolis, if the law is being bought by Lex. There's a lot of things that Gordon could do, but does anybody have a problem with that? I gotta have a problem with that. But I'm not gonna jumping up and down and go, hey, wait a minute, this is not Batman. This Batman sucks. But no, I'm watching to see what the arc is going to show. And he never ever went back and said, hey, wait a minute, you know. But then when the Ultimate Cut came out, it didn't fix a lot of stuff for him. It just made him feel a lot better because there was a lot more story and everything fleshed out a little bit better. But I don't see him saying that it changing his position on the movie. And he still pretty much said that he didn't like Zack Snyder's Superman. He felt that his Superman was still not Superman. And I go, well, he wasn't. I don't know how I got to go back and look at some of his videos about his BvS commentary and his review, but it sounded like he didn't like it. So the Ultimate Cut made him feel a little bit better. Now people could say, oh, it made him feel a whole lot better. He completely changed his tune. I go, no, because if he did, when Justice League came out, he would have knew off the bat that, hey, wait a minute, this isn't Zack's movie. He didn't say anything. He just kept going with the corporate narrative. To me, and again, I'm saying, I really do like Kevin Smith, but he's a yes man. He's a corporate yes man. This guy went with Jeff Johns and completely told the whole world that, hey, everything's going to be cool. This is going to be a phenomenal movie. Zack Snyder is going to have one more movie under his belt. Batman v Superman looks really cool, and all these characters look really fun. I hope that he can get Superman into a right position. His Batman, that's what I'm saying. He brought in a little bit of a bias already. So when he saw this movie, it was like he didn't call out, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like a Zack Snyder movie. It feels like a Joss Whedon movie. He went with, oh, it feels like it's going to be a collaboration between two directors. But now, John Aaron Garza. Now I'm gonna tell you my truth. When I went to go to the movie, I gave Joss Whedon the benefit of the doubt because I believe that he wasn't gonna come in and completely derail everything. He wasn't gonna completely derail everything. He was going to continue doing what Zack Snyder was gonna do, bring out his movie, because if we all keep forgetting what happened with him on Age of Ultron, he was going to he was going to do a Gray Hulk. He wanted Ultron to be different. He wanted Ultron to be a little bit different. There was a lot of things he wanted to do in Age of Ultron. But what happened? Kevin Feige came up behind his back and tapped him on his shoulder and said, hey, hold on, we're going to change all that because no, we're not doing all that. He's like, but wait a minute. And he had to do exactly what Kevin Feige wanted to do. And what happened? He said, nah, I'm good. He quit doing Marvel movies because he felt burnt out. How are you going to feel burnt out? How? You made almost $1 billion film, and you're going to make another $1 billion film. you're gonna get the rest you need, and you're gonna continue doing another Justice. I mean, I'm sorry, not Justice League, but you're gonna continue doing an Avengers movie. He wanted to do another Avengers movie. He wanted to continue doing them, but he was tired of the corporate coming behind him and telling him what to do when he proved himself doing $1 billion movie. So to me, I'm going, wait a minute. So I don't think that Joss Whedon's gonna screw Zack Snyder in the back, because he knows what how, he doesn't like people coming in and screwing up somebody else's work. That's not cool. A person put their hard work into something. They expect that everything's gonna be the right way. But what did Joss Whedon do? He came in and wanted to do that. Well, I did the Avengers. Everybody wanted me, so I'm gonna do what I feel is the right thing to do. Really? So he completely changed the movie. And again, I'm gonna say my truth. When I went to go see it, um, it felt fun. It felt fun. It felt exciting. There was some stuff felt a little jarring to me, but I was just seeing what the movie was trying to tell me. After watching it a couple of times, and again, not listening to John Aaron Garza or anybody else, and listening to some of the reviews, a lot of them were saying it feels off. And then I say, okay, well, let me go back and watch it again. I watched it again, and it felt a little off. Certain characters did not feel right. Like Ben Affleck's Batman, he felt way too chummy. And people were saying, well, I mean, and I said, wait a minute, Batman would be very secretive. He'd be extraordinarily secretive. He wouldn't trust these people. He wouldn't trust them at all. He would expect that they will get the job done, but he would never ever trust showing them the Batcave or showing him his tech. He would never do that. He would just show them exactly what he needs to show them. Batman is a secretive person. Now also, you had Wonder Woman able to break into Batman's stuff. Are you kidding me? So I can go, well, Wonder Woman's been around for 100 years, but this is Batman. If she could easily get into his stuff, then what's his purpose? Come on, what's his purpose? This guy's supposed to be the most paranoid person on the planet. This guy always has a plan for something. He always has something. And you're building that from BvS, and he was extremely angry and paranoid about Superman, but he's going to let down his guard around for Wonder Woman? Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, regardless. I mean, Gal Gadot is an extremely beautiful woman, but still, this is Batman. This dude is a stoic dude. I mean, yeah, but still, he's not going to lay his guard down around anybody. He's not going to do that. He's not. So, I don't understand where people are, what was going on with that situation. Also, how he was talking to Arthur. Like, it's like he couldn't talk to Arthur. I'm like, really? He's like, so do you talk to fish? I'm like, that's not Bruce. Bruce would never talk that way to him. He'll be confident, like, so you talk to fish? So do you talk to fish? He goes, I don't talk to fish. The water talks for me. Huh. Okay. And he walks off. That's it. That's Bruce. That's Batman. He asks a question, and he makes sure that, okay, this is what you could do. Okay, great. I'll make a note of it. That's Batman. So I didn't fully understand a lot of the character interactions. It felt like super friends. It felt like these people have known each other for a good long time, and they already know each other. And that's like, but these guys are just teaming up, so they would be very chummy. The only one that would be very chummy with everybody is I'm sorry, not Bart, but Barry. Barry's that way. Barry's not a secretive person. The only person that he'll be a little wary of is maybe Arthur. Maybe. But Bruce, dude, this guy's a legendary Batman. He's good. He met Wonder Woman. Holy crap. He's about to deal with bring back maybe Superman. Holy crap, But Arthur, it's like, he seems like a very angry dude. I'll be nice with him, but he'd be chummy. Cyborg, same thing. He'd be pretty chummy. He'd be chummy with him. He'd be friendly. But openness? I mean, Batman would never be that open. He would probably not reveal his secret identity to them. But I understand in the situation, the way Zack wanted to do it is, Bruce is old and he doesn't care. At this present point in junction, he doesn't care. And a lot of people point out a lot of things like he's yelling out, "Yeah, I'm Batman, I'm Bruce Wayne," blah blah. It's like, really? I mean, I understand that he's out in the middle of nowhere and these people don't speak English, but his face is pretty well known. I mean, they'll probably put two together. So it's like, whatever. It's one of those small little things. But but again, for Kevin Smith, and again, I want people to really, really, and I don't want to go on a tangent, but I want people to really, really call him out on why, where was this after BvS? Why did it take you this long to want the Snyder cut? Why? I mean, you are personally not under a contract with WB to be their spokesperson. You're not. You're a free agent. He can go do whatever the heck he wants. But unless he wants to do a movie with WB, then that shows a conflict of interest with me. To me, it shows a conflict of interest. Like he's willing to basically throw Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut under the table if it means he can get a movie out. And I'm like, no, man, that's not cool either. So again, I don't know a lot of it, and I don't want anybody to think that that's what I believe. It's just how I see the things going on with him, and but it feels to me he's a corporate yes man, and he just wants to get movies out. And I go, dude, you could do independent movies and just do independent movies. I mean, he's not regarded in the highest esteem as some of the greatest directors of all time. Neither is Zack Snyder. I mean, so to me, Kevin Smith is. I mean, he's pretty much almost in a way he's a C-level director. He's a C-level director, and in some ways, Zack Snyder's considered a B-level director or a C because that's what people see when they look at his movies. They only see it's not rewatchable, but they are because again, the main thing is who the hell is talking about Civil War? Who is talking about the Winter Soldier? Who's talking about the first Ant-Man? Who's talking about Thor Ragnarok? The only reason why they're talking about Thor Ragnarok now is because of Thor Love and Thunder. Who the heck is talking about the Phase 2 movies? Who's talking about the Phase 1 movies? The only reason why most people are talking, a little bit of people are talking about the Phase 1 movies is because the first Iron Man and the fact that Tony Stark is dead. That's it. But no one is talking about the Phase 1 movies anymore. Everyone's still talking about Man of Steel. Everybody's talking about BvS. Everyone's talking about Justice League. Everybody's still talking about DC movies because that's how much of an impact it made, positive or negative. But no one is talking. No one is talking about Marvel movies that much because they're forgettable. They're massively forgettable. They want a flavor of the month that gets the massive hype, and then that's it. And it's like, no, that's not, that doesn't show the greatest movie of all time. The reason why Avatar, in my personal opinion, is a much better movie is because it was a much taken care of movie. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just basically Ferngully / Pocahontas in space. So what? It made an impact, and it's still talked about. It's still talked about. Endgame is going to get completely not talked about after another 5-6 more years. No one's going to care. Everyone's going to talk about, oh, the Eternals, or, oh, the Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Oh, did anybody see that? What happened on WandaVision? No one's going to care what happened in Endgame. No one's going to care. Kevin Feige, Endgame came out, it's done. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. But if you really care about the product, you keep that apparent in your stories. The ramifications of Tony Stark's death is always going to have ripple effects because of him not being there, of course. However, it's going to get forgotten. It's going to be hugely forgotten because they just want to move on. And it's like, no, that's not how you do stories. You want to make cratering impacts. And that's what Zack Snyder was going to do with the death of Superman. He was going to have it as a cratering impact, that it was a loss. And these heroes are going to have to try to deal with that in Justice League. And that's what I wanted to see, and I didn't get it because individuals like Kevin Smith, John Campea, the Collider, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, all these media networks that a lot of us fans, and even you, the audience out there, you read them and you listen to them, but you don't call them out on their crap. You don't call these people out on their crap and say, where was this? Where was this passion? If you guys knew about movies, and Kevin Smith knows about movies. Like I said in my earlier talk, Kevin Smith knows about movies. So if you know about movies, man, and you know about comics, how the heck do you know about character arcs? How do you don't know about character progression or story progressions? How do you say that his Superman doesn't make sense or it doesn't fit in line with the traditional Superman that we all know and love? Wait a minute. So he's supposed to have all these traditional values in the first movie? Dude, the only reason why Richard Donner did it that way is because it was limited writing back in the 70s. They just wanted to get straight to the point. This one, the way comic book movies are now, you can easily do it the way Zack Snyder did it. You could build off of one hero and build the whole universe right off of one hero. He was trying to do it the same way DC did it before. Superman came out, then you have Batman, then you have Wonder Woman, and then you have, I believe the next person was Aquaman. And then you can have build your universe slowly around the fact that the world is reacting to Superman, and now the world is reacting to these new heroes. And that's what Zack Snyder was trying to do. WB could have went right behind him and just said, hey, you know what? This is how we're going to build the universe. And because of individuals like Kevin Smith, and again, I'm not saying that he is not entitled to his own opinion, but he is entitled to his own opinion. But he needs to curb his opinion until we see the final products, until we see everything that comes out. Because now to him, he wants a Snyder cut because everything does not flow from Man of Steel, and that's because they changed the whole narrative because of individuals like Kevin Smith. Because he lambasted Man of Steel, he lambasted BvS. But he got okay with the ultimate cut, but he didn't like the fact that Batman was murdery or killy. Get the heck out of here, man. Captain America was killing people. You had no problem with that. He bashed people's heads in with a shield. Come on. You had Tony Stark blasting people with photon with rockets and blasters with photonic blasters in the first Iron Man movie, blasting tanks and killing, I don't know, Middle Easterners, terrorists. That wouldn't flow today in today's society. So come on, call it out. He doesn't want to because he doesn't want to lose that. He don't want to lose those backstage passes that I think that he wants. It's like, dude, come on, man. Be honest. Be honest with WB. Be honest with Marvel. Be honest with your fans. He could say, you know what? This is how I personally always say things, and I don't like how they did Spider-Man. I don't. But I go, okay, I don't like how they did Spider-Man, and I personally mean Peter Parker. However, I want to see what direction they're going to go with him. I want to see what direction to go with him because then I can feel okay with his progression to becoming, oh, I can see this is where they were going with him. He never said that. Sorry. He never said that. So to me, it feels like that Kevin Smith is just being that geeky guy, but then he wants to try to be analytical later on. And it's like, no, why? You know, when you watch a movie, be analytical, but enjoy it, but still be analytical. Keep that in the back of his mind. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a director. You're a director. And also Zack Snyder said it a whole bunch of times. Hell, there's websites that Comic Movie Marks and even Film God put out that Richard Donner said when they were doing Man of Steel, he said, do not do the same as before. Do something different and do something original. And that's how the character will grow. And that's what Zack Snyder did. And no one wanted it. This is coming from Richard Donner himself. The guy that Kevin Feige says that we're building our whole universe off of Richard Donner's platform, his template of doing Superman. I don't see Richard Donner at a lot of those Marvel pressers. I don't see him at the red carpet events. So to me, if you are a true fan of Marvel, I will call him out on that. It's like, hey, wait a minute. If you're building this whole universe off of his template, off of what Richard Donner did, why isn't Richard Donner at these events? Why isn't he coming over here? Why aren't you showing pictures with you and him, you know, hands on shoulders and smiling and thumbing up and everything? No, because I guarantee you, Richard Donner's like, dude, get away from me. That's how I see it. He's sitting there going, okay. Because he divorced himself from the whole thing, and that's because he hated the whole situation that happened. And now you got this guy that basically was giving him coffee and donuts. He was just a product assistant, his assistant, who's basically saying that, hey, I'm building this whole universe off of this guy's template. When that's not how you do original movies. Now everyone's defense is every movie is different. And I go, no, it's not. You could see the same routine in each movie. It's like you could hit that rim shot for every joke. It's a ding. That's the rim shot, and it's like, oh my god. It's like you could see it coming a mile away. Same goes for Spider-Man when the Sony and Marvel thing. But that's what people want, and that's fine. They have to do it whatever gets them the most money. But DC does not have to do that. They just the way that I believe they need to do it is they got to do it original, and they have to do it different than what was already done before. And that doesn't mean from the comics. It means if there was a movie out with these characters, do it different. And there wasn't. So we're doing a lot of weird things in movies that makes no sense. Now, like I said, and I'm gonna wrap this up, and the whole thing with Ben Affleck. Now, we all know that Ben Affleck wants to be in the Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, their reunion movie, and I'm not saying that that Jay Ewes and Kevin Smith shouldn't do this movie, because they worked hard for their brand, and both of them have been friends for, I mean, my God, for close to maybe 30, 35 years. They've been friends for a very long time. And that's not going to stop me from wanting to see the movie. Like I said, I want to see the Jay and Silent Bob movie. But to me, with Ben Affleck being there, I'm hoping that that people need to call him out on this. This is where he needs to call out and say, hey man, you're the guy that pretty much told me as an audience member that you didn't like his Batman. Why? You said his Batman was killy. He wrote most of that stuff, so why do you have a problem with that? And that's good reporting. That's not badgering him. That's not harassing him. That's just asking him a good firm question on the fact that he's calling him out on his BS, because you're telling me that you're friends with him. He says that you know that he's a huge Batman fan. He has all this behind the scenes stuff, and you're telling me in BvS you didn't like his Batman because he was killy. Why? It disturbed you, right? Yeah, okay. Well, that should make you nervous. But that shouldn't deter you from the fact that, say that, well, that's not his Batman, I don't like that. So what? It's a character progression. It's a character story. You can get upset about it, but hold that until the very end of it, because at the very end of it, you're going to see him be Batman. He's finally going to be Batman, and that's what he was at the end of the movie. When he said, I failed him, and I won't again. It's renewing in him the promise he made to his mother and father. It's renewing the promise he made to Gotham City. He is now realizing that he screwed up. I need to fix this, and the best way to fix it is I need to find these new heroes and get them ready to take on the threats that basically that Superman can't pose anymore. And that's the reason why he wanted to do the Justice League. And that, to me, is Batman. That's Batman. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. To me, that's a great character progression for Bruce Wayne at the very beginning of the movie, who had a huge disdain for Superman. He believed he was the 1%er that's going to destroy the planet, and he needs to get rid of him. If there's an absolute certainty of him being dangerous, 1% of it, he needs to go. That's an absolute. And I'm like, whoa. That's very... And you can see Alfred trying to get him to not think about that anymore. But when Bruce told him about how Gotham City has been in the last 20 years, the good people that died or betrayed Gotham City, and how many people are left? Alfred didn't have nothing to say. That shows to me that Alfred was even getting a little like he has no retort to that because he's seen it, so he knows that Bruce is right. But Bruce was not right about this, and that's the thing that makes Batman Batman. Deep down, he was still Batman. He was just corrupted. He was broken. He didn't care, and I loved it. That's what I loved. It was different than any other Batman we've ever seen, but you didn't want it because he was killy. Get, that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I'm not saying that Kevin Smith is an a-hole. I'm not saying Kevin Smith is a jerk. I'm not saying that we shouldn't listen to him. What I'm saying is that listen to him, but if he starts talking like in a double talk or he's flip flopping, call him out on it. Massively call him out on it because that shows that you're going to put him in a corner where he has to completely reveal a little bit more about himself. And again, to me, I feel he's a yes man. I feel he's a yes man, and he's trying to do things so he don't lose those backstage passes. It's the same with John Campea. It's the same with Collider. They're yes people. They don't want to lose those behind the stage passes. To me, if I lose behind the stage pass, that means that I hit a nerve with them. I hit a nerve with them. You got to call them out. You go, hey, wait a minute, this makes no sense, man. This makes no sense. And you got to have the conviction and also the knowledge of the characters and the books to justify why you don't like it. Now, and that's why I have a reserve for Marvel because they take characters in weird directions, weird stories, and they amalgamate stories in, and it makes no sense to the overarching story for the characters. So that's why I have a huge problem, a good problem with Marvel. DC is in some ways doing that now. Um, Wonder Woman was a good example by the third act. The third act went completely off the rails, and I said this in my review for Wonder Woman. I said this about Wonder Woman before. The from the first act all the way to at the end of the second act, the final battle between Ares and Wonder Woman, it was a phenomenal movie. I was like, dude, I'm in my seat. I'm happy. I'm with my friend, and we're just sitting there going, dude, this is an awesome movie. By the time we get to the third act, we're both going, what the heck is this? And I said, why is Ares throwing stuff at her like Magneto? People are saying he was like Magneto than Ares. This is the god of war. Why is he throwing things at her? Why is he tossing stuff? This man should be summoning warriors from the dead. I mean, come on, he has the power to do that. Why isn't he infusing himself with battle and conflict, and he's just overpowering her with absolute war? I mean, Wonder Woman is powerful, yes, but if Ares is summoning the power of war and conflict and battle, it's empowering him. It should make him very, very powerful to the point where even she's like, I don't know if I can fight this, and that brings a lot of tension to the fight, and that's what gets us going. And it gets us it gets us riling up in our seats like I am right now. And then when she pays it off with a phenomenal maneuver that overpowers him, but in a way it shows it's Wonder Woman, you go, wow, wow, okay, okay. Because to me, out of all the ones we've seen, the greatest scene that made you get on your seat and you go, well, that's a Superman moment, or I'm sorry, that's a superhero moment, was Superman versus the terraforming machine, when he was slammed on the ground and he's getting completely wrecked like this, and he's standing up pushing his fist in the air and he's trying to stand up, and you're just like, dude, is he gonna do this? And the music is boiling. Oh man, it's one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen. And then you have one of the greatest fight sequences I've ever seen in my life. It's still the Batman warehouse scene. And then if you have a conflict between two superheroes, I mean two super villain, I mean two of the hero versus the villain, it was Aquaman. Oh my God, Aquaman versus Orm was a phenomenal fight at the very end. That was great. And then the battle between Aquaman and Black Manta, it took the cake. So to me, DC knows how to do the action the way it's supposed to be done. The problem is everyone wants certain stories because it fits the narrative of what they want. They want the first movie to be Orm, then the second movie to be Black Manta, and the third movie to be maybe Orm again. Like, no, why are we going this repetitive nonsense? And that's why I feel that Kevin Smith is trying to do. He's trying to keep it very simple, and he doesn't want things to be too complicated. And I go, no, we as a society and we as moviegoers, if you can't sit through a complicated movie, then it's not your cup of tea. There's other movies out there that can really benefit. You got other people that are super. You got other people that want complicated superhero movies. They don't want simplisticness. They want something a little bit more complicated, a little bit more deep, so that it pulls them in. Because if they don't want the same thing all over again. We as a society have grown past the simplistic heroes. We want more complicated heroes. We want more deep-rooted stories. Having a complicated hero, a complicated villain, and a complex story, it can make a very, very good movie, but it really depends on the characters. And Superman should not be simplistic. Superman needs to be complex. Because there's a lot more going on with Clark slash Kal-El slash Superman slash Last Son of Krypton than it is than him saving a cat from a tree. And Zack Snyder knew what the heck he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And individuals like Kevin Smith did not know. So I don't want I'm sorry, I'm making this way too long. But like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Please, let's talk about this. I don't want negativeness with this. I don't want to have people jumping on saying that, hey, you're a piece of S. Kevin Smith is a god and this. I'm not saying Kevin Smith is an a-hole. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to me, he's a corporate yes man. He's a corporate yes man. He will say yes to anything. Yeah, okay. He'll just basically sign whatever the heck it is because he just wants to he wants to be relevant. And he doesn't have to be relevant. Kevin Smith is Kevin Smith. He can go to any Comic-Con and people will know who the heck he is. So it's like, he doesn't need to be a yes man, but he's being a yes man. He's propping up all the Marvel stuff, but he's kind of going to the DC stuff because it doesn't fit the narrative that he wants. And he's trying to think like, oh, we want kids to watch these movies. No. 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 You want genres. You want niche movies. That's the thing about superhero movies. You need them to be separate genres. Superman could be an uplifting story. Batman needs to be a crime, action, adventure, or mystery, or noir. That's fine. Wonder Woman could be action, adventure. Aquaman could be swashbuckling adventure. You can have The Flash as a time traveling mystery type of movie with action adventure. There's a lot of genres out there that you can bring into the mix that actually can make the stories a lot better. But the problem is that a lot of directors and a lot of writers, they're going with this weird narrative now that's saying you need to make it simplistic for you to make a buttload of money. But okay, so you're sacrificing quality for quantity. And that's bad. That to me is bad. Now everybody can say, well, Aquaman was a great movie. I'll go, yeah, it was a good. No, it wasn't a great movie. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. The problem with the movie was it wasn't as deep as it could have been, and there were certain jokes in there that didn't land right. But that was fine because not everything is perfect. Wonder Woman is a good movie. To me, I think Batman v Superman is a great movie. Man of Steel is a great movie. And it's not because I'm a Snyder fan. It's more the fact of that was different than what I've expected it to be, and it was great because of it. It's something that we have not seen before. And I don't want to see the same Superman that I see on TV than I see on the movies. Then it's like, why do I want to watch the movie version when I can watch the TV version for free? I could just watch the TV version and be perfectly fine. Why would I want the same Superman if you're gonna have the same type of Superman on TV? That's where you get, why isn't there a Batman TV show? Why can't they show Batman on TV? Because guess what? They don't want to show the same type of Batman on TV than it is in the movies. You got to give a different Batman. Hence why the streaming service is going to show us a different Batman. They showed us a different Batman. And I have a feeling that people are not going to like that version of Batman because he's quote unquote killy. So that's my video. I hope you guys enjoy. Share this around. Let's talk about it. Let's see how you guys feel. Hey, how do you feel about Kevin Smith? How do you truly feel about Kevin Smith? Do you feel that Kevin Smith is is truth in the pudding? Do you feel that he's the right guy to talk about comic book movies? Also, do you feel that he's also in the right to talk about that the Snyder Cut exists and try to champion it now? After basically for the last year and a half, he pretty much was on the fence about that it really does exist, and he really didn't champion it as much as he is trying to do now. Um, how do you feel about some of his past comments about Man of Steel and BvS? I mean, I kind of want to take the bias out of it and just put more of his comments, not what you think, but what does he think versus what does he think now? Because again, I'm saying this as he is a comic book writer. Comic books are not simplistic. You got to make it very complex. That's how you get 10 issue arcs or a whole year and a half issue arcs, which is, I don't know, 18. That's 18 books. That's 18 magazines that you got to buy. That's a year and a half, because one a month. Now, he wrote for both Marvel and DC, so he understands that stuff. So is he the right person to say that Zack Snyder did a bad job with Superman, or that he did a bad job with Batman? Which it wasn't Zack Snyder; it was actually Ben Affleck who did it, because Ben Affleck rewrote a lot of it, and we had there's pictures available that you could do behind the scene pictures of him rewriting the scripts, and Ben Affleck talked to Zack Snyder plenty of times because he knew what Zack Snyder wanted to do, and Zack Snyder agreed to allow him and Chris Terrio to rewrite certain aspects to Batman's story in during the movie filming. So, but again, that's what I want. I just want to talk about that, and what are your comments? What do you think? Okay, you guys have a great day. All right, you have a good one. Bye.